don't know. I just have had this reoccurring thing um, for a really long time in the middle of my back, and it just sometimes it just flares up, dude, and I like can't get comfortable, and it just like hurts. It feels like a shock, like a jolting pain. It's like freaking sucks. And then right now, it's just like it's not currently hurting. Like me sitting here, it doesn't hurt. But then I'll have like certain movements that I'll do, and I'll feel it like, mm, mm. Like it's like, careful, bro. Don't move too much. And yeah, it sucks. So right now we're looking at 24,115. To be the opener. And we'll see how that goes, and then I'll do a charting session real quick, and then it's back to football, baby. So less than a minute till open. It doesn't really look like we're gonna get. Oh, now it's moving. 85 ticks. 86 ticks. But how was everybody else's weekend? How was your trading week last week? I seriously was not involved in anything. I feel like 5 second 86 ticks. So here's the opening price here. Bang. So yeah, we pretty much just called that to the tick. Opening price was supposed to be what, 124, 115? 24, 115. Bang. I had a horrible week, kept trying to force setups and was trying to short for some reason. Yeah. Um Yeah, I barely traded last week, dude. I just couldn't. Like price action was so bad, I just couldn't do it. I took a small funded win and I blew my top step combine. I can't lie. I blew my top step combine because I tried a full port CPI and it didn't work. So yeah, I didn't think we'd break all time highs until rate cuts. That's what I was thinking, honestly. um, Amy and I were talking about rate cuts, or yeah, about that whole scenario, and I was like, I wonder if we're gonna get bearish PA until the rate cut news, and then we pump. That's what I thought was gonna happen. So I was like low key trying to find reasons to short too, but everything was choppy. Nothing was very clean. So close to pay on Blue and Apex account. I think. Yeah, dude. For a while, I was like literally not even checking my account balances because I just didn't want it to get in my head. I didn't want to know how close I was. I didn't want to know, how much more I needed or whatever. So that's totally valid. Um, that's unfortunate, but you'll be all right. Do you do the tick instead of P&L? Yeah. On TradingView, I have it on ticks, and then on Project X, I have it on points, so I don't see that. But yeah, let's get into a charting session real quick. I need to like just zoom out and delete so many things off my chart. I gotta delete this data high. Gotta delete this SMT. Delete this. Delete this. We're gonna leave the man, I got it at the top here, chat. Oh yeah. This trade is this 5 minute short here. By the way. That's what this entry is. I got in a little late because I didn't see it, but so we have the CPI data low down here. We have this 1 hour that I'm gonna remove. Dude, okay, I need to zoom way out. All right, so I gotta delete this SMT because it's broken. This, I think I'll leave. This, I am going to remove. Not a very impressive run up, honestly. Like, not really any gaps getting put in here. This is all just like a slow grind up of accumulation, basically. So we got this SMT down here. So I like leaving SMTs on my chart that are SMTs that send us to take liquidity and we don't come back for it. So we got this SMT 4 hour kind of looks like AMD. Yeah, that's what I think too. I would love that. So we got all these stacked SMTs down here that we've had on the chart for a while, right? So we have all these stacked SMTs down here. This liquidity down here is absolutely insane. Damn, dude. If FOMC dumps us that far and then we like get a rebound and then pump, that would be insane. But I'm also gonna mark out this 4 hour LRLR right here because right at the top of this LRLR, what do we have? This CPI data low. So I really like that. So I know it's kind of weird to have. Actually, I'm not gonna leave that marked, but keep in mind we have this trendline liquidity right here. Right? See all these lows? Boom, boom, boom. Plus the CPI low. And then we have all these lows here. Like this. Okay. So all of this is primed to get ran through, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if like FOMC we like dump, sweep out all these lows, and then that's when we start our run back to all-time highs. Like I almost wonder if that's what all this liquidity is for. Just for FOMC to just manipulate through all of it, and then we just do this, if that makes sense. Because when we get those rate cuts, I mean, I don't know. I saw something that was saying that the rate cuts are important, but they're also another thing that's important to watch is like the 10-year bonds or something like that. Something about 10-year bonds will affect a lot. I didn't really read into it that much, but so keeping the Powell pump gap. Dang, I'm realizing for not doing charting sessions for a whole week, there's really not much more to add. Like we pumped through everything to the left. We didn't really put in any gaps underneath, right? So I don't have any like unfilled bullish gaps nearby that are standing out to me, other than just the Powell pump gap, which is way back here. And then it gets hard to about a 4 hour gap. There's a 4-hour gap here. That it's not very obvious. I don't. The problem is there's not really any obvious gaps. Like even this 4-hour gap is only 20 points. Like that is a tiny gap. So while I do understand his logic behind that, I will also say keep in mind that this is not a very obvious gap. And I don't know if this is a gap that I'm going to use for higher time frame bias. Because even if we inverse this gap here, we have this giant order block, right? However, it's 20 points. So for like a higher time frame bias type of gap, I would like to have it be a gap that's a little more obvious. Like see how we have this gap down here, that this is much bigger, much larger. All these other gaps that we have marked out are much larger. Now, that's not to say that it won't matter, right? If we inverse it, maybe we could go down lower. But we just didn't put in any gaps. Like, as soon as the CPI report came out, it was like everything just overlapped. Like, there was no gaps. It was literally just overlapping, slow grind, slow grind, slow grind. We do have this 5-minute gap down here, which is not bad. Wouldn't the Powell pump gap be disregarded now as it was disrespected and filled, so it's already been mitigated? Yes. Yes and no. I still like it for some reason. I mean, it was invalidated, but I don't know. I just like it. And the reason why is because you see how I have the 50% of the Powell gap marked out here, this line? See how many times we respected this? Once here, once here. And then even after we inverse the Powell pump gap, right? Look, we came back up and still respected it here. Here. So when I see things like that, I still think this is relevant. We got an SMT here out of the Powell pump gap, right? So we got this gap too. So instead of changing up and marking all these different random gaps, I'm just going to leave the Powell gap instead, basically. Because we just kind of, yes, we inversed it, but we still just respected this 50% so many times, and I like that. So it's just when we're up here at all-time highs and I look to the left and I'm not really seeing any gaps anyways, right? Then I might as well just use this one again. See how we react when we get to it anyway, since we spent so much time reacting to it. So I'm just going to leave it for now. No news Monday tomorrow. So, we'll see. I still think price action is going to be super wonky until FOMC. So all this LRLR. Okay, I guess my next point of interest would be this 1 hour gap here. So that is one thing that I will add to my chart. M60 Bissy. So why do I like this one? Because it's a BPR, right? And it's been used to propel price higher. So I like this as an area to get longs out of after sweeping the data low or here. I mean, if we even do that. So yeah, when you're at all-time highs, it's kind of hard to chart because there's nothing to the left to kind of go off of. So I'm just got to go with near-term PD arrays or more recent term PD arrays. So how do you pick which higher time frame gap you expect price to react from? So one way that I like to do that is, have we reacted off of it before? So like when I pick this gap, I can see that we've come above it, tapped into it, and got a reaction. Came up here, didn't sweep these highs, but we came down, tapped into it, got a reaction. So there's one way. And then honestly, another way is if we haven't tapped into the gap at all. That's another decent one to look at. But when I see things like here, I'm on the 4 hour, I see this gap here that, dang it. I see this gap here that price respected, right? See how we put in this gap, swept the high, we came down, but we didn't close below this gap. So actually, maybe instead of this gap, this is something that I extend over instead. 1, tapped it already. 2, haven't tapped it at all. Yeah. So, and why are those relevant? Number one, so the number one, tapped it already, means that it's been proven to be a gap that holds price in a certain direction. And then haven't tapped it, meaning it's important because it's an unfilled gap. Where does 50% come in? 50% would come in here. So like, do you mean 50% of the gaps? Like how I have the 50% of the Powell pump? Like that example? %50 of the dealing range. There's a couple ways. I mean, if you want to look at the range for the last hour, right? You can zoom out to the 1 hour candle and draw a range here, and then you can see the range. Like a lot of the time we want the price to hit a higher time frame gap that's also in 50%. Oh, I see. Gotcha. So basically you would take a swing low, like let's just say this one here, right? And then go up to the swing high, mark out your 50%, and then look at your chart and see, are there any gaps that line up with this 50%? Yeah. So right here we have this 1 hour gap that has not been closed below, right? So this 1 hour gap couldn't get inversed. We wicked below it, but it was just a sweep liquidity, tap into this unfilled gap and go higher. So you can mark this one out maybe because it's a bullish gap and it's near your 50% and it's right after the CPI data low. Yeah. And that's why I like doing these charting sessions, because then I have these gaps marked out already for the week and then, or for the next day, you know, and then when I wake up, I have these gaps and I can see where we're at and kind of determine, okay, well, what's my bias going to be like then? Are we near this? Did we sweep lows? Did we tap this gap? Are we just moving higher? Things like that. Wait, there ain't no way you use the date that the way like the Europeans do. What you mean? Oh, dude, I honestly didn't even notice that. How does one? Oh, I don't think I can change it. That's why. I'm pretty sure I tried to fix that once and couldn't. Yeah, I can't change it. Show symbol info. There. How about that? There you go. Yeah, actually, why do I like that way better? Um. So where did we open at relative to Friday's close? Basically in the same spot. Here. But I mean, we predicted the opening price to a tick. So title of this video is going to be charting sesh plus cracking the algorithm. Okay. Shoot. Never mind. So yeah, ideally also here's another 5-minute gap right here. That price has been held up a lot. So for now, since we're so high, and I don't know if we're gonna get good retraces or not, I guess I will mark this one out for now, but I doubt that. By the time I start trading, I doubt this gap will be relevant. Hail to the no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, got a bunch of P15s playing out right now currently, I guess, so that's cool. But that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go keep watching football. And I will see y'all. If you check the schedule, we got PM streams, including one on Friday at 10:30 p.m. Huh, Amy? Who's playing? Right now it's Eagles Chiefs. But the Cowboys won earlier in a pretty exciting game, so that was cool. But all right, everybody, have a good rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon.